Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. What should the Lakers and Warriors do before the NBA trade deadline? Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James and Golden State Warriors guard have each won 4 NBA championships throughout their Hall of Fame careers. The odds are firmly stacked against either one of them winning a fifth this season. Halfway through the 2024-25 campaign, the Lakers sit fifth in the Western Conference at 24-18. That's better than the Warriors, who are 22-22 and would miss the play-in tournament entirely if the postseason were to begin today. With the February 6 NBA trade deadline rapidly approaching, the two teams are facing pressure to make upgrades and give their all-time greats a chance at one more deep playoff run. However, the cornerstones for each team are taking vastly different approaches, which creates a fascinating contrast as both attempt to build around aging legends. Throughout his NBA career, James hasn't been shy about pressuring his teams to acquire win-now upgrades in pursuit of a championship, long-term consequences be damned. History appears to be repeating itself this season. On Wednesday, ESPN's Shams Charania reported that James and Lakers star big man Anthony Davis have expressed that they want the franchise to make moves to contend for a championship. However, he added that they're growing concerned about the Lakers' ability to make significant roster upgrades with their two tradable first-rounders. Him and we're very, very motivated to win another championship, Davis told Charania in a sit-down interview. The Lakers already owe their unprotected 2025 first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks and their 2027 first-rounder to the Utah Jazz if it falls outside of the top 4. Because of the Stepien rule, which prohibits teams from being without a single first-round pick in back-to-back drafts, the Lakers are allowed to trade their 2029 and 2031 first-rounders along with first-round swaps in 2026, 2028 and 2030. Forbes Daily. Join over 1 million Forbes Daily subscribers and get our best stories, exclusive reporting and essential analysis of the day's news in your inbox every weekday. The Lakers already made one move in late December, trading D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis and 3 second-round picks to the Brooklyn Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. That deal hasn't caused the Lakers to rocket up the West standings, which seemingly has James and Davis angling for another impact move. However, that may be easier said than done. The Lakers are roughly $3.5 million below the second apron after the Russell/Finney-Smith swap, so they're allowed to aggregate two smaller salaries to acquire a bigger contract, but they can't take back more salary in a trade than they send out. They also can't aggregate Finney-Smith with another contract ahead of the deadline, which deprives them of one decent-sized salary-matching chip. To acquire someone such as Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler, $48.8 million, or Chicago Bulls wing Zach LaVine, $43.0 million, the Lakers would have to aggregate at least 4 contracts unless they traded one of James or Davis. That may explain why they aren't champing at the bit to give up both of their tradable first-round picks in a trade. The sense around the league, when talking to rival scouts and front office personnel, is that standing pat or making a half-measure trade, likely 1 or 2 second-round picks, is more likely than the Lakers going all-in and trading both of their future first-round picks that can be moved, Jovan Buha of The Athletic recently wrote. While James and Davis are pressuring the Lakers to throw caution to the wind in pursuit of win-now upgrades, the Warriors' cornerstones are taking the opposite approach. The beautiful part about being in the space that we're in is, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry and myself all disagree with mortgaging off the future of this organization, saying that we're going for it right now, Green told Vincent Goodwill of Yahoo Sports in mid-January. Bad teams do that. Bad organizations do that. We're not neither one. One day later, Curry echoed his longtime teammate. Desperate trades or desperate moves that deplete the future, there is a responsibility on allowing or keeping the franchise in a good space and good spot when it comes to where we leave this thing when we're done, Curry told reporters. Doesn't mean that you're not trying to get better. It doesn't mean that you're not active in any type of search too. If you have an opportunity where a trade makes sense or even in the summer free agency move makes sense. You want to continue to get better. Nobody wants to be stale or be in a situation where you're passing up opportunities. But it doesn't mean that you're desperate, just flinging assets all around the place just because you want to do something. Like the Lakers, the Warriors have already made one move this season. They traded the expiring contract of DeAnthony Melton, who's out for the season with a partially torn ACL, along with 3 second-round picks for Dennis Schroeder and 1 second-rounder. And much like the Finney-Smith trade for the Lakers, that deal hasn't significantly moved the needle for Golden State. It could be challenging for the Warriors to land a bigger upgrade, though. They're only $330,000 below the first apron and are hard-capped, which means they cannot go that threshold at any point this season. Nikola Vucevic scores just 9 points in Bulls' blowout loss to Warriors, CHGO Bulls post-game. The CHGO Bulls crew break down the Chicago Bulls' 131-106 loss to the Golden State Warriors on Thursday night. The Bulls' West Coast trip ended with a thud, getting smacked by the Warriors in the second half after leading by 1 at the break. Peck, Big Dave and Will Gottlieb discuss the Bulls going ice-cold from deep and away from Nikola Vucevic in the second half. Does it matter that Vuce had an underwhelming night in the midst of the trade rumors? Plus, the Bulls' young bench mob got absolutely worked by the fresh faces of the Warriors bench. Blockbuster NBA trade idea sends Zion Williamson to Warriors. The NBA trade deadline is just a couple of weeks away, and some teams are positioned to make moves to contend while others look to sell assets for the future. Reports are that the New Orleans Pelicans will become sellers at the deadline, given their horrendous first half of the year and their financial situation. New Orleans is about $1 million over the cap, but the team has never paid the tax before. Zion Williamson's name continues to be mentioned in speculation about players who could be on the move. The two-time All-Star is again battling injuries this season, a common occurrence throughout his 6-year career. Williamson has immense talent and is one of the best players in the league when healthy. One radio station in San Francisco, Willard and Dibbs, proposed a trade scenario to pair Williamson with one of the best players in NBA history. Via 95.7 The Game, Warriors receive Zion Williamson. Pelicans receive Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Lindy Waters III, and the Warriors' 2025 first-round pick. Since Steph Curry's arrival in the Bay Area, Golden State has a pedigree of winning, hoisting 4 championships. This season, the Warriors have started 21-22 and look like they would struggle to be a play-in tournament team as presently constructed. Curry spoke recently on his team's rough start to the year but doesn't think the franchise should compromise their future to try and win now. Nobody wants to be stale or be in a situation where you're passing up opportunities, Curry told ESPN. But it doesn't mean that you're desperate, just flinging assets all around the place just because you want to do something. A healthy Williamson and Curry pairing would make a dynamic 1-2 punch for the Warriors. Golden State hasn't had an inside presence of Williamson's caliber, and the Pelicans forward has never shared the court with a player as great as Curry. In this scenario, New Orleans would receive a solid player in Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick next season to draft for the future or use to get another quality player. Williamson is averaging 21.9 points and 8.2 rebounds this season for New Orleans. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Zion Williamson? Leave your opinion in the comments.